What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. Join me today as we go through how to start a food forest phase 5. Let's go. If you caught last phase, we put the fruit trees in. We put the strawberries in. Let me bring you inside and show you how they're progressing. Let's start with this row of strawberries. We put these in first. They're doing really nice, beautiful growth. And as you can see, we didn't cover those crowns. That's so important. So now the leaves are able to unfold. One thing that's important about strawberries is keeping down perennial weeds around it, because strawberries have very shallow roots. You can see this strawberry plant, it's doing real nice. But the wild violet is creeping through, already trying to encroach on it. We don't want that. We want this to be a nice thick mat of strawberries. And when it sends its runners out, we don't want it to have the runners to have competition with this wild violet. Some people like this, but in our circumstance, in this location, it actually tends to be invasive. And while we're digging through this, you can just see all the worms. Look at this. So we're not the one building the soil fertility, the worms are doing it. And the microorganisms. We're just assisting them in creating the perfect environment. Let me dig this wild violet out, and when we do, we want to get down to the roots. We don't want to wait on this too long. If we do, we'll be messing with the roots of some of the strawberries. We want to get this out right from the crown as well. Now that I got all this wild violet out, I'll get this area covered back up. And the reason we're getting the wild violet coming up because we don't have the wood chips as thick here. We only have them just a few inches thick. So when they do send out their runners of strawberries, they'll be able to root into the ground. Now that we know the strawberries are doing well and we've cleaned out the area around them, let's check out some of the fruit trees that we put in. The first one we put in was this peach back here, the Mary Jane. And when I first put it in, I could have come through and pruned some of it. I decided not to, but now that the buds aren't even open, I can still come and cut some of it out. The reason I'm pruning this is because this is crossing over there. I don't want that in the future. If I don't want it in the future, there's no point of having it now. I want to prune mine to more of an open center. So I want to establish that open center when the tree is young. You may be surprised what I'm going to do here, but establishing the shape of your fruit tree is so important when it's young. What I'm going to do is choose the branches that I want, because I'm going to be pruning to an open center, and take everything else out. I want 4 main branches coming off. I'm going to choose this one here, this back one, and this one. Everything else is coming out. So I'm going to give this thing a nice haircut. And you might be shocked, but this is how I'm going to choose to do it. You guys can follow along for the progression of the tree. And just from doing that, you can see how it looks a lot more like the peach trees that I have in my garden already. When I cut that, I cut it to as much of a 45-degree angle as I could. This way it sheds water nicely. Cut this off. And now I have these 3, and I'm going to choose to just take this bottom one. So as you can see, this tree is pruned now more to an open center. And I want to encourage this branch to grow a good amount to balance it out nicer. And some of these top branches I can actually take off. So it's basically a mini version of one of the fruit trees I have in the garden. And since I did that, I actually encourage, the root ball is going to be just as big as it is, so it's going to have a lot of root growth. That may surprise you, but there's still some cutting to do. What I want is about 1.5 feet, and then for these to split off. So I'm going to come and cut this right there. Now I have 2 branches going off opposite directions. And I'll cut those off to an outward facing bud. What do I mean by outer bud? It's a bud on the tree that's facing the opposite direction of the center. We're going to cut that at a 45-degree angle. The same thing we did with that. Now we have 2 going in the opposite direction. After about, say, 1.5 foot. Now we're going to do that same thing. So this branch, we're going to keep this one, and we're going to keep this one single long one. So we're going to take out this, this, and this. So we're going to be keeping this branch here and this one. So we're going to take out this here, this, this, and this. So take that out, that, and that. Why are we taking all this stuff out? Because we're going to have to do it in the future. Might as well do it now while it's young. You also want to make sure you're taking out anything that's diseased or dead. So for all the peach trees and even the plum, we'll go through and follow the same pattern. The same thing over here. I'll give you one more example. This location, we want to keep this and we want to keep this. Both going in different directions. So we're going to take out the center one and this back one. Now this branch in the future, it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be 2 coming off, and we'll follow that same pattern. Since this one's a lot higher, we want to cut them all at the same height. to give them an equal start. So we're gonna prune this one again to an outward bud. That's the idea. You may have seen me cut a lot, but we'll come back and follow this tree along in the future and you'll see just why I did it. We didn't just plant peaches in here. We've got other kinds of trees. We've got pears, like right here, 3 different kinds of pears, 2 Asian, 1 European. When it comes to pears, they actually don't like pruning as much. They like growing to a central leader, but they don't take pruning as well, so we're gonna leave those for now. We're gonna move over to the apples, because that's something that I also like to prune when they're young. When it comes to apples, they're typically pruned to a central leader, not to an open center like we just did. So with this one, we want a nice central leader and about 4 other branches coming off the side, nice strong ones. So I'm gonna remove these lower ones because they just, like I said, they're too low. They're ruining some of the structure of the tree. So I'll remove those. Sometimes you could even, it's advised to prune your apple tree, just take it down to about 3 feet once you plant it. I didn't do that, and you can do that whether or not you want to, that's up to you. So that's how I prune my young apples. Next, let's move over to grapes. We're in a food forest, or a future food forest. So we want those 7 layers. We've got the ground cover with the strawberries. We've got a nice canopy layer with the trees. Now we'll move over to the vining layer with the grapes. And we've got some blueberries planted, that's the bush layer. We'll add some more bush layer things. We've got the herbivore layer that we've got planted right down here. We'll add other things also. So we're getting closer and closer to really having a full food forest. Let's move to the grapes. When it comes to growing young grapes, it's all about the root system. That's what we want to focus on. So after we've got this planted, it's advised to come and prune it down to 2 buds. So you'll notice right here, we've got a bud coming out here and 2 other. I'm gonna keep 3 just to start. We'll remove this because it's dead also. It's alive, but we don't want it. And we'll remove this. And we'll cut this back to here. We want a lot of the growth focused on producing healthy roots. That may have looked harsh, but we'll come back in a couple days to check on it. You'll notice in the background we've got grass growing. That's not acceptable. I'm gonna have to come through and remove that. This is just one of the grapes I have planted here. I've got 6 planted along the fence line, along the border of the food forest. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's other 2. I also have annuals in here. Let me show you how I do that and show you some in the back. As I make my way over, you can see the 7-year-old food forest behind me and just try to envision the new one. With the young apple trees, the pears, all the strawberries along, another apple here. Here's one of the grapes, a peach tree that will still prune. I've got young annuals planted along here. 2 young blueberries also. Let's talk about pruning these real quick. When it comes to blueberries, you want to prune any of the dead growth off. That's what you mainly want to focus on. We can see this is dead. Take that off. And any disease growth, this is dead. And this is an Elliott blueberry, a late producer. We have a number of other blueberries, but we wanted to get a late one. And here, another peach tree that we need to prune. More strawberries in the ground. And look at all these brassicas, the annuals we have planted. We'll plant a lot of brassicas along this area. Then we'll plant some more tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants as we move our way back here. And we've got another apple tree we planted a couple years ago. We're gonna have to work on pruning this one. Some strawberries, another set of grapes. Check out the size of the area I'm in, growers. This is not big. From this alleyway section, about here on, that's not huge. This is gonna be a beautiful mini little section, like its own food forest. So I want to encourage you to get your area planted. If you say you don't have enough space for a food forest, a patio, a balcony, you can start a food forest in there. At my feet here, again, you can see all these annuals. I transplanted these in. We don't have any weeds coming up, but what if you have weeds coming through your wood chips and you want to plant annuals in? Let me show you what I do. Not everything is done perfect the first time, that's for sure. I wish I did this right the first time, but I didn't. Maybe you didn't also. You can see we've got some grass coming up here because the wood chips, they're just not thick enough. So I'm gonna have to come and put some more contractors paper down, wood chips over top of that. This way we don't have any weeds coming through and messing with our annuals. How am I gonna do that? I'll pull back all the wood chips that I had first. As I pull this back, you'll probably notice all the worms in here. They've already gone to work on the dying grass and on the contractor's paper. These are converting that grass into beautiful humus. And I'll continue pulling this all back because we don't want to put the contractor's paper over the wood chips. For the most part, you could see the contractor's paper did a good job. There's some areas that just because I didn't have it deep enough, we had some of the grass come through. As you can see though, for the most part, a lot of this grass has all died. This was just a regular lawn, just like behind me. So we've killed off most of the grass. Next thing I'm gonna do is lay out the contractor's paper like I did here. Make sure I overlap it just a little bit. Contractor's paper is a step I advise you do not skip. It really helps. It seems like it wouldn't make a big difference, but I truly, truly believe it does. And it's so easy to roll out. You need to make sure you have the wood chips thick enough though when you do have it out. So we'll keep a nice overlap and get it rolled. This all could have been avoided though if we put the wood chips down thick enough when we originally put the contractor's paper down last fall. I just didn't have enough chips, but that's not an excuse. This is gonna make a world of difference for us though in the near future with the annuals. This is really heavily gonna restrict the weeds from coming through. And I'll show you how I get around actually planting them into this. The contractor's paper is down. Let's fill it back up with wood chips. The reason I'm only doing this small section is because this is the spot that I didn't have chips thick enough. Most of the rest of the food forest is good. I'm gonna be planting annuals here. So until I have those planted and transplanted out, I'm not gonna put the chips thick. After I have the transplants in, I'll plant them thick. I'm gonna follow the same pattern as what I was doing. Keep that same basic spacing. The first annual will go right here. We've got this area cleaned out of the wood chips because we want to plant directly into the soil. We don't plant into wood chips. They're just a mulch, not a growing medium. We have a cauliflower, we want to plant it here. So I'll just cut out a small section to put that cauliflower in. We'll remove the wood chips, dig out any grass or anything growing. I'm gonna shake off all the dirt from this and just remove the grass, throw it into the chicken pen. I know the worms would feed on it, but we're gonna remove it for now and have a nice area to put this cauliflower in. When I did the cauliflower, I'll squeeze it, rub the sides just a little bit, and then just put my 2 fingers here, flip it over. And as you can see, it's not root bound. It's at a good age to transplant. I'll just remove this native soil to the side. And then when it comes to brassicas, they're one of the few plants that actually don't form the mycorrhizal association. So we're not gonna put any mycos on this. When we plant it, we want it maybe an inch above the soil level. So a little higher, about there. And we'll just put our native soil around the base of it. I'm not gonna add anything crazy into here to show you, you don't have to have anything amazing. Sandy soil isn't bad, but a top dressing will help. What's a top dressing? As I put the native soil back around the base of this, we'll get that top dressing. And what that is just any kind of compost or something that's high in fertility. You put it over top of the native soil, and then so when you water in, it actually feeds the plant. We're gonna use black leaf mulch for our top dressing. I'm gonna grab some. I've got a little cup here of the black leaf mulch. You don't need a lot. Put some around the base. It's a little dry, but that's okay. We'll water it in. That's all it is. We'll put a little wood chips around the base of it. Not too much, but enough to keep the weeds down. And then around all this section here, we'll have nice thick wood chips, so no weeds come up. But around just the base of the plant, we only want, say, 3, 4, 5 inches of wood chips. Another planting in, man, it feels great. I'm gonna continue that same pattern and put 2 more rows in. The annual garden is gonna extend from that corner to here. So we have annuals planted within the food forest. I'm also gonna scatter some tomatoes in. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and ring that notification bell. Don't forget to check us out on Steam It too. We love posting on there. See you in the next one. James Prigioni is out.